from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast. Coming to you live on ChannelEye Rupavahini, I'm Vin Hettiarachchi. Joining me is Sharifat Tahir. Today is the 20th of August and here are today's headlines. The Mahasangha reiterates that the cooperation of all should be extended to the President, who has bravely taken up the challenge before the country. A maximum retail price for eggs. Fuel supplies to 12 filling stations have been temporarily suspended. An IMF delegation scheduled to arrive in the country on the 24th. The Prime Minister says all political parties must unite to overcome the crisis. The Jungle Beach has been restored to its original status following a disclosure by the national television. 15 persons killed in a rocket attack in northern Syria. Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says measures have been taken to provide farmers the necessary fertilizer for the Maha season.
He further says that success of the Maha season would pave the way to normalization of economic problems in the country. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has venerated the historic Jayashree Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura. He has expressed opinion regarding the provision of fertilizer for the Maha season at a discussion with the Atamasthanaadhipati and Chief Sanganayaka of the Northern and Central regions, Venerable Dr. Palligama Sirinivasathera. The President has further pointed out that the government is taking measures to resolve economic problems, focused great attention on agroeconomy. Thereafter, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has worshipped the Ruwan Valley Mahasaya and received blessings from Chief Incumbent of the Ruwan Valley Mahasaya, Venerable Palligama Hemaratna Thera. He was also engaged in religious observances at the Lankarame, where he was engaged in a short discussion with Chief Incumbent of the Viharaya, Venerable Ralapanave Dhammajoti Thera. Parliamentarians S.M. Chandrasena, Duminda Disanayaka, Shrihan Semasinghe, Chief of Staff of the President, Sagala Ratnayaka, Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Ruwan Wijewardena, former Ministers Daya Gamage, Anoma Gamage, H.B. Semasinghe, former Opposition Leader of the North Central Province, Kasturu Anuradhanayaka was also engaged in religious observances today. The President, upon arrival at the Thuparama Viharaya, has called on Chief Incumbent of the Viharaya, Venerable Kahalla Jnaninda Thera, and inquired on his well-being. Later on, the Mahasangha have chanted Set Pirit and extended blessings on the President. The President has also arrived at the Mirisvetiya Rajamaha Viharaya and called on Chief Incumbent of the Viharaya, Venerable Itala Vatunuvave Jnanatilaka Thera. The Venerable Nayaka Thera has pointed out that all parties must join hands to extend support to the President in order to fulfill a national responsibility. The Venerable Thera has also enlightened the President on the hardships being experienced by the people in the North Central Province over a long period. He has also requested the President to speedily complete the Mahayala project in the North Central Province. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was also engaged in religious observances at the Abhayagiri Viharaya. He has also engaged in a dialogue with Chief Incumbent of the Abhayagiri, Venerable Kallanchiye Ratnasiri Thera.
The Consumer Affairs Authority has issued a gazette notification imposing a maximum retail price for eggs. The order has become valid from effect yesterday. According to the special gazette notification, the maximum retail price of white egg is 43 rupees. The maximum retail price of a brown egg or red egg is 45 rupees. The notification further says that an egg manufacturer, supplier, distributor or trader should not engage in selling, supplying, trading or displaying their product above a maximum retail price. With the imposition of a maximum retail price of an egg, a grading unit of the authority has issued a warning to businessmen who are engaged in selling eggs at a higher price. Search operations have been conducted on several egg-selling boutiques in the economic centre of Naharayanpitiya. The authority has stated that if a trader do not comply with the price declared, fines will be imposed on them from tomorrow. Meanwhile, the traders say although a control price has been declared on eggs, they are unable to sell their product at these prices. Traders at Dambulla Economic Centre say they are receiving a substantial harvest of grapes from Jaffna. A kilo of grapes, which has been sold at between 300 and 350 rupees last year, has now fetched a price of 900 rupees. The reason being the importation of grapes remaining at a minimum level at a time when the demand has gone up considerably. The vegetable prices have gone down at the Dambulla Economic Centre in the past few days. The reason has been the minimization of receipt of vegetable stocks. Paddy harvest in the Yala season in the Polonnaruwa district is nearing completion. The Karuduela storage complex in Polonnaruwa Paddy Market Board has commenced yesterday the task of purchasing paddy harvest of farmers in the Kahalgala Samudra Sheem. A kilo of nard paddy is being purchased for 120 rupees and a kilo of samba paddy for 125 rupees. The purchasing price of a kilo of kiri samba paddy is 130 rupees. Paddy storage in Valikanda also remains open for purchasing. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara says a decision has been taken to temporarily suspend fuel supplies to 12 filling stations which have displayed a minimum cooperation to the National Fuel Pass system.
The minister took the decision at a progress evaluation meeting at the Commercials Division of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation yesterday. The meeting has focused attention on the performances of the filling stations in the task of utilizing the National Fuel Pass system. The minister has also instructed officials to furnish information pertaining to public complaints on fuel distribution methodology to the nearest filling stations. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency, Jayantha De Silva, has expressed opinion regarding the National Fuel Pass methodology participating in the Shanida Ayubowan program telecast over national television this morning. Chairman of the ICTA, Jayantha De Silva, said that the procedure has not been easy, but they were able to resolve the problem in a week's time. A ceremony to appreciate services of institutions which are given priority to the introduction of the National Fuel Pass system was held yesterday under the leadership of Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara. On this occasion, the performances of several institutions including the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency, Dialog Asiata PLC, Millennium IT have been highly evaluated. 93% of filling stations throughout the island have been successfully implementing the National Fuel Pass system since the 1st of this month. More than 11 million transactions have been recorded so far. More than 6 million vehicles have been registered in the program. Unloading of the second installment of the stock of fertilizer received under the Indian Credit Relief has commenced. Distribution of 21,000 metric tons of fertilizer is scheduled. Registration of farmers engaged in maize cultivation in the Maha season under the program to provide chemical fertilizer has already commenced. Commissioner General of the Agrarian Development, AHML Abhiratna, informs the registration is being carried out only via online. Therefore, registration will have to be made by logging into the website www.agrarian.lk before the 31st of this month. Any queries pertaining to registration via online should be resolved by seeking the assistance of Agrarian Research and Production Assistant or Agrarian Services Centre officials in the respective areas.
The International Monetary Fund staff plans to visit Colombo during August 24th to 31st to continue discussions with the Sri Lankan authorities on economic and financial reforms and policies. The objective is to make progress towards reaching a staff-level agreement on the prospective IMF Extended Fund Facility arrangement in the near term. As Sri Lanka's public debt is assessed as unsustainable, an approval by the IMF Executive Board of the EAFF program would require adequate assurances by Sri Lanka's creditors that debt sustainability will be restored. IMF staff would continue to engage in other stakeholders during the visit. The team will be led by Mr. Peter Brewer and Mr. Mashiro Nozaki. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena reiterates the need for all political parties working together to overcome the current crisis facing the country.
He has made these remarks participating in a conference of the representatives of the Sri Lanka Mahajana Party today. The meeting has taken place at the N.M. Pereira Centre in Colombo. The SLP MP has extended their wishes to the Prime Minister on his assuming duties as Prime Minister. The meeting has also focused attention on the problems and future programme of the Sri Lanka Mahajana Party. Leader of the SLMP, Parliamentarian Asanka Navaratna, district organisers and regional people's representatives have also attended the event. Mrs. Dulanjali Premadasa was convened before the Criminal Investigation Department today to record a statement over the incident setting fire to the residence of the President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
She has been interrogated for a period of around 4 hours. The CID recorded her statement based on the information received that she was present at the President's private residence when it was set on fire. Mrs. Hirunika Premachandra has also arrived at the CID today for the purpose of recording a statement. The Criminal Investigation Unit of Colombo South Division has commenced a special investigation into the incident of a group of protesters entering the temple trees on the 9th of July and causing damage to properties. The police seeks public cooperation to identify a group of suspects whose identity has not been able to be established. Any information pertaining to these suspects could be furnished through the telephone numbers 011 2421 867 or 076 3477 342 and 1997.
You may recall our TV documentary over destruction of the Buena Vista coral reef due to the inclement weather condition. Well, large groups have come forward to clean the beach and the dilapidated coral resource. This story is about the valiant contribution of the volunteers. The enchanting coral reef is almost destroyed due to the recent bad weather. Debris of the corals had piled up to the height of around 3 feet in the beach. As a result, beautiful beachfront had been turned into an ugly jungle beach. It was on the 19th of July this year that we brought this gruesome news item to your attention. It was this news item that had opened the eyes of many on the need to overcome the pollution of the beach environment. Accordingly, a mass Shramadana campaign had been recently conducted at the base of the Rumasala mountain in Unawata, Nagar. The Department of Wildlife Conservation and the Wildlife and Marine Resources Conservation Association had taken an upper hand in the massive program to clean the jungle beach. Many have extended their appreciation to the national television for its efforts to beautify the natural ecosystem. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says a program coupled with free market economy and people's-friendly capitalism is needed for the country.
The opposition leader made these remarks addressing a Yatiyantota electric meeting of the Samag Janabala Vegaya. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa he added that although they believe in capitalism, it should come in the form of humanism. He further said that many countries have proven that prosperity could not be achieved through the implementation of a socialist frame of economy. He added that even the so-called communist countries of today have gone in the path of capitalism more than the United States. China is implementing communism under a capitalist setup. He added that they should go on a correct path, taking the good of each theory. A group comprising of parliamentarians Dallas Allah Peruma, Professor G.L. Piris, has venerated several places of Buddhist worship, including the Jayashree Mahabodhi and the Ruan Valley Saya in Anuradhapura, and received blessings.
Parliamentarian Professor G.L. Piris said on this occasion that they have received the blessings for a new journey. Upon worshipping the Jayashree Mahabodhi and the Ruan Valley Sire, the parliamentarians have called on Chief Incumbent of the Ruan Valley Mahasaya, Venerable Palligama Hemaratna Thera, and sought blessings.
නිදහසෙන් පස්සේ කොහොමද මේ ජාතික
A rally organised by the National People's Power under the theme Dissolve Parliament, Give Way to People's Mandate and the People's Power in the Agitation was held at the Nugegoda Open Air Theatre this afternoon. NPP leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka has presided over the event.
Group representing the National People's Power in many areas have arrived at the location. The meeting was organised according to the health guidelines as a result of the threat on the spread of COVID disease. NPP leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka said that the people throughout the country will go on the roads and agitate seeking to resolve their problems and to chase away the rulers. They need ours is the safeguard of the national resources of the country. He has called upon the people to get into one camp and to form a massive people's power.
A talk show has been conducted to bring together a global network of volunteers dedicated to tackling the world's most pressing humanitarian challenges. 1.2 million members from over 200 countries and regions got together to find ways of improving lives at both local and international levels and helping families in need in their own communities. The event was held in Radisson, Colombo yesterday.
All rituals pertaining to the Kandy Asala Pageant Festival has ended yesterday with the performing of the Shanti Karma Mangalya at the Vishnu Devalaya. The Shanti Karma has been conducted for 7 days, extending best wishes for prosperity throughout dispelling the bad omens of all those who took part in the Kandy Asala Festival. The workforce which took part in the annual pageant begins at Diyavadan Nilame of the Sri Dalda Maligava to the artists and devotees. The other participants, including the Basnayaka Nilmes of the four Mahadevalayas, Basnayaka Nilmes of the remote Devalayas, the elephants and the board of organizers. Basnayaka Nilame of the Vishnu Devalaya, Mahendra Ratvatte, has presided over the final Shanti Karma ceremony yesterday. The cup planting, which denotes the commencement of the Asala festival, as well as the Valigakum, centered on the Vishnu Devalaya. Trustees of the Dadimunda Devalaya, Alutnura Dharmasri Karunaratna, Deputy Municipal Commissioner of Kandy, Prabhat Madhumarachi, and a large number of devotees were present at the occasion.
Three women were reported to have been killed in a tractor accident in Muttur, Trincomalee. A tractor heading for Kottiyarammula Rajamahaviharaya was subjected to an accident at the Muttur Panchanur 64th post. At the time of the incident, 21 passengers were travelling in the vehicle. The injured have been admitted to the Muttur hospital. Well, that's it on local news updates. Stay tuned in for international stories coming up next.
படிப்புடன் டியூட்டி பார்க்கும் ரிஸ்குடன் வேலை செய்யும் சேலஞ்சுக்கு எஸ் திறமைகளை வெளிக்கொண்டு வரும் சகல மனங்களும் மகிழ்ச்சி பெறும் சேலஞ்சுக்கு எஸ் யூத்தெல்லாம் ஒன்றிணைத்து நாளைய தினத்திற்கு அடித்து இன்றைய காலகட்டத்தில் புதிய புதிய சவால்களை வெல்லும் யூத்திற்கு அருகிலே மக்கள் வங்கியின் எஸ் டிஜிட்டல் சேமிப்பு கணக்கு சேலஞ்சுக்கு எஸ்.
Foreign news. Security officials say 10 people have been killed after Al-Shabaab militants stormed a hotel in Somali capital of Mogadishu. The police said attackers detonated 2 explosives outside the hotel before entering the building and opening fire. They were reported to be holed up on the top floor of the Hotel Hyatt hours after the attack began. A special police unit is said to have rescued dozens of guests and staff from the hotel. The officials further said that 9 people were injured and carried away from the hotel.
In the meantime, at least 15 civilians have been killed and dozens of others wounded when a rocket attack hit the town of Al-Bab in northern Syria, the Syrian officials said. The opposition's Syrian Civil Defense said 5 children were among those killed yesterday and that the number of those wounded was 30. The attack in the town, which is held by Turkey-backed opposition fighters in the northeastern countryside of Aleppo, came days after an air attack killed Syrian troops and United States-backed Kurdish fighters in Aleppo. The Syrian government blamed Turkey for the attack.
On to sports news. On cricket, Asian Cup tournament is scheduled to take place on the 27th of this month in the United Arab Emirates. Now, the Sri Lankan team has been officially announced today.
20 players are included in the pool. Dasun Shankar will function as the captain and Charita Solanka as his deputy. The batsmen include Danushka Gunatilaka, Pathum Nissanka, Kusal Mendis, Manuka Rajapaksha, Ashwin Bandara, Dhananjay De Silva, Dinesh Chandimal and Nuwanindu Fernando. The bowling department has been strengthened through the inclusion of spinners Wanindu Hasaranga, Mahish Dekshana, Jeffrey Vandase and Praveen Javikrama. The pace attack will be carried out by the bowlers Jamika Karunaratne, Dirshan Madhushankar, Matesha Pathirana and Dushmanta Tamira. All the fast bowlers Binuru Fernando and Kasun Rajita have been included in the team approved by the Minister of Sports. They would not be able to join the tournament due to injuries. Paceman Asitha Fernando and Pramod Madhushan have been recalled to replace them. The Sri Lankan team is scheduled to leave the island on the 24th of this month to compete in the Asian Cup tournament. The Sri Lankan team will play under the B category. The other teams in the category are Bangladesh and Afghanistan. India and Pakistan will compete under the A category. The team that would emerge victorious in the qualifying round of the Asian Cricket Cup tournament will also be included in the A group. The maiden fixture of the tournament between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan will take place on the 27th. Sri Lanka will also compete with Bangladesh on the 1st of next month. The round of 4 super teams will be worked off on the 3rd of next month. The finals are scheduled to be conducted on the 11th.
Now on local news, cricket, actually rugby news, today was the first leg of the annual Rugby tournament, which took place at the Royal College Stadium. Royal College Colombo emerged convincingly victorious against the matchup against Trinity College Kandy.
The Rugby Cup tournament is being conducted for the 76th occasion. The Royal College team, since the beginning of the game, has displayed their striking capabilities. At the end of the first half, Royalists have collected 10 points in the form of a goal and a penalty. Their rivals were unable to score throughout the game. In the second half, the Royal team has re-established their dominance by adding 19 more points. Accordingly, the Royal team was leading 29-0 at the end of the match. In the final half, the Royal team has added 3 tries and a further penalty to their score. The second leg of the Rugby Cup Rugby tournament will be kicked off in Pallekele on the 3rd of next month.
That's it for tonight's English news broadcast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.